Welcome back to Healthy Ever After, and I am nutritionist and chef Fiona McEnroy, and today we are going to be making a flaky apple tart. And here are the ingredients. First, I'm going to start by preparing the apples. I start by peeling the apples with a vegetable peeler, as I find it only takes a little bit of the skin off. Then I'm going to core the apples. Make sure you get all of that core out. And then finally, I'm going to chop the apples into thin segments and then place them all into a mixing bowl. As I am trying to reduce the sugar content of this apple tart, I'm going to use honey or maple syrup or agave instead of castor sugar. So once I have all my apples nicely chopped up, I add my cinnamon and my honey. Now you can set the apples aside and we can focus on our pastry. Start by sifting about 250 grams of plain flour into a large mixing bowl. The secret to making this pastry nice and flaky is to use cold ingredients. That's why we use butter straight from the fridge and ice cold water. Then with your grater, grate your butter in on top of the flour. Because our hands are warm, we don't want to use our fingers to do the rubbing in method at this point. That's why I am using a table knife to achieve the breadcrumb look. Because we are trying to keep this pastry as cold as possible, we continue to use the table knife as we add our ice cold water to bring it together. As you add the water little by little, you can switch over to using a spatula to bring the dough together in the end. When your dough is ready and it's not too dry and not too sticky, you can dust your worktop generously with flour. At this point, you will notice we are going to handle the dough for the first time. We're just going to knead the dough for about 20 seconds. Then bring the dough into a nice round shape and cut in 2 even halves, one for the top of the tart and one for the bottom. Sprinkle your work surface with a little more flour to make sure that the dough does not stick to your table. Then, taking 1/2 of the dough, roll it out to a shape that is big enough to cover the bottom of your pie dish. Then, using your rolling pin as an aid, roll the pastry back over the rolling pin, and then that will help lift the pastry onto your pie dish. Then carefully help the pastry fall down into the corners of your pie dish so that it fits nice and snug and you have some pastry overlapping. Next, add the apples that we prepared earlier. Then roll out the second half of the dough using the method that we used before. Using your hands, carefully press the pastry down around the apples, and with a table knife cut off any excess dough that's hanging off the side. To help the bottom and the top layer of dough seal together, use a fork and press down, making a nice decorative pattern all around the edge of the tart. Prick the tart all over with a fork and create a little hole in the center to allow steam to release. Then egg wash the top of the tart and sprinkle with a little bit of castor sugar. Now your tart is ready for the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 25 to 30 minutes, or until the top is nice and golden and brown. I hope you have enjoyed this recipe. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.